earlier on in the year, rates were supposed to be a bit higher. And they were, and then all of a sudden Brexit situation happened, brought rates back down to where they were at their lowest in mid 2012. So Matt and I were just talking about how a 1% or 1.5%, while it doesn't sound like a lot, could potentially affect the market. Couple different points I wanted to make, but Matt, looks like, do you want to say something?
No, keep going, dude. Yep.
Okay, so a couple different points that I want to make here on how the market's going to be affected, Matt, is one, when rates start ticking up, hopefully they don't just tick them up like boom, 1%, 2%. Hopefully they do it a little slower, and usually they do, a quarter point at a time or whatever it may be, extended over the course of a couple of months, okay? What's going to happen is we're going to have, I believe, an amazing fall, a record-breaking September, October, and November for home sales during that time of year, okay? So if you've been holding out to sell, looking for the prime time, okay, when you see rates are going to start going up, now is the time to move, because all of the buyers that were on the fence, they're holding off until the perfect time. The perfect time has left. They're going to be rushing to the market. There's still a huge lack of inventory on the market, guys. We're talking about like 55% of what we should have on the market is on the market, okay? That's not a lot. So you could still get top dollar for your house, okay? Now going into 2017, things might be changing a small bit, okay? And here's the deal too. When people look at rates right now at 3.5%, and then they look at potential 5% going into 2017, and again, we're speculating because we don't know until the Fed meets and discusses what they want to do. But if that happens, there's going to be a psychological impact there for buyers, and they're going to be like, whoa, that's crazy high, it's crazy expensive, when in actuality it is not, okay? And what's going to happen is homes are going to sit on a longer time on market, and prices are going to probably come down a bit because the demand is not going to be there as it is today and this fall. So we want you to really have all of this information and to really prepare for what could be. You always want to be a step or two ahead of the competition. And these are conversations that we're having with our clients as well, preparing them for this. Now, if on September 1st, if they decide that, rates aren't going to go up, which I highly doubt, then we're going to, go back and say, listen, here's a different conversation we should have. But it's always, we always want to keep, the public and people that have money on the line when they're buying or selling aware of this.
Well, another thing is that if you're getting the most for your house right now because the rates are so low. So because if the rates go up, the mortgage payment's going to go up. So whatever for $400,000 house that you were going to buy, you might not want to buy that $300,000 or $400,000 house now, because if the rates go up, you're going to have a higher mortgage payment, higher interest, all of those things. So you might tick it down. So if you're a seller, take advantage of the buyers with low rates, because they'll pay that. They can afford that higher purchase price.
Yes.
And also, if you're selling your house, you're going to turn into a buyer yourself, and you have the opportunity to take advantage of the low rates and get into your next house. If the rates go up, you're going to see your house go down slightly, the value of your house go down, or the purchase price, the listing price, go down slightly, and you won't get that appreciated value. And you're also going to be, whenever you purchase something else, you're going to be in the same ballpark as the buyers. So it really is, you should really take advantage of it.
So, and here's a little strategic point for you, okay? So when that happens, when the rates go up, okay, if you're a seller, and what's going to happen is a lot of people aren't going to be privy to what's going on here, but our listeners and our clients, they're going to be. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of folks sitting at the prices where they were in the summertime. So let's just say a house in North Kingstown, okay, say it goes on at $570, okay, in the summertime. All right, so there's going to be probably a slight adjustment, and if you were to put your home on at $550, $560, you're going to see all the traffic run to you, and you could get a potential bid war and eventually probably sell for higher than you were if you were to put it on at $570, which is the funny thing, because it's demand. You want to drive demand to your house, and there's different ways of doing it. Now, some people are like, you're crazy. It works. We do that. From time to time, depending on the situation. and other times it doesn't warrant that. So, it's important to look at your exact situation, to know the market, to know the area, and to take advice from your real estate professional, especially if they're in the know and they're running numbers like we do weekly, okay, and talking with our national network. I think that gives you, our listener, huge leverage here. We've got that national network of folks. So aside from the single-family market, which we were talking about, Matt, we also have, obviously, the condominium and the multifamily markets. Now, if you own a condo or a multifamily, you're going to want to pay close attention here because things are already changing in those markets. If you've been on the fence in regards to buying or selling, it's still a wonderful time to buy. As far as selling, things are slowing up a bit for the condos, especially the condos. Year over year, sales are down, according to the Rhode Island Association of Realtors, 6.6%, year over year for condominiums. Okay, not a huge number, guys. It's not double digits, but that's still. It's signs of what's happening out there, okay? Multifamilies took a bit of a dive, down 9.7% over the course of the year so far. However, we are seeing a strong increase of folks going back out and buying multifamily houses, okay? So, I wouldn't, again, the sky's not falling when it comes to this stuff, and I wouldn't run around saying that. But if you're watching the market, if you're seeing what's going on, you might want to take advantage of the high prices while there's still a huge pool of buyers that can afford to pay for what you're offering. Okay, that dynamic is going to change a bit as things go on, as interest rates increase. And again, keep an open mind here because the folks that can afford that $400,000 house, when rates tick up 1% or 1.5%, who knows, they might only be able to do 375. So it might move them into that other ranges. And same thing, if they're good at 300, maybe they'll only be good at 275. So you may not. You may do well with that when that happens too, depending on what price range you're in. So if you need any more off-air information in regards to that, again, there's still a lot of questions out there that need to be answered. And come around September 1, when the Fed meets, we're going to know a lot more. Okay, we'll talk about this later on our next show.